We'd like to invite our speaker up.
Me.
We'd like to invite our speaker up for today, all the way from North Carolina. He's got the word burning in his heart for us this morning.
He's got
So we pray for our preacher. Ask that you use his mouth, Holy Spirit. Let your word flow through him. Amen.
Amen.
Tu peux t'approcher, hein, c'est mieux. Je m'approche?
Ouais, tu peux t'approcher.
Can I get closer?
On ne verra plus.
Okay.
On verra mieux.
So, today we're going to talk about David and his life.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
So David was a shepherd. He was very courageous. He killed animals, everything that was trying to eat the sheep in his flock, because he would keep the sheep of his family. And one day a prophet called Samuel came and he wanted to make one of Jesse's sons, so Jesse was David's dad, king. And so Jesse, he brought all his sons to Samuel, and Samuel said, "Are all your sons here?" And Jesse said, "No, David is keeping the sheep because I don't want any things to eat my sheep." And Samuel said, "Bring him here." So Samuel anointed David king of Israel.
What?
But that doesn't mean he was king right away, because there was a king before David called Saul. And, well, Saul didn't always make the best choices. That's why the Lord had told Samuel to anoint David. So, at one moment, Saul wasn't feeling good in his head. So David would play harp for the king, Saul.
Nice.
And that would make Saul feel better when he would hear the harp. And one day, David's brothers were at war with the Philistines. They were Israelites. And Jesse had asked David to go give food to his brothers at the war site. When he arrived, there was a giant, 9 feet tall giant. So
Let's talk.
his head would be the roof.
Yep.
And that 19 feet tall giant was called Goliath. He was a Philistine, and he was making fun of the Israelites. And David didn't like that. He was provoking the Israelites. The giant was. So So David wanted to, because the giant Goliath, he was saying, "Send me a man that is able to fight me, and if he beats me, the Philistines will be slaves to the Israelites. If I beat the Israelites, the Israelites will be the slaves of the Philistines."
Yep.
So all the Israelites were scared. And when David got to the war site, he asked his brothers, "Who is this man? He is making fun of our God," and all that. And David was really annoyed. So he went to the king Saul and said, "I want to fight. I want to fight against this Goliath." So Saul gave David some armor, but the armor was for somebody that's an adult, and David was probably, he was a teenager. And so it didn't fit David, because
Too small.
he was too small.
Yep.
And so he went to fight the giant without armor. Before he was going to fight the giant, there was probably, I think, a little creek, a small river, and he took 5 rocks, about this big. He put it in his pocket, and with his slingshot, he took a rock, boom, 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 threw it and killed Goliath.
Just like that?
Yes, hit him right here. And if you get hit right here by a rock that was thrown by a slingshot, pretty sure you'll die.
Which rock? Which rock killed him? The first? The
The
second?
first one, the first rock he threw.
Wow.
He took 5 rocks. It took 1 rock to kill Goliath.
Wow.
A 9 feet tall giant fell on the ground.
Again.
And the earth trembled.
No. David took a sword.
And cut.
He sliced off Goliath's head.
Ooh.
And I'm pretty sure he put it on the sword and showed all the Israelites the Philistines are defeated.
Oh.
And so, as Goliath said, if the Israelites beat the Philistines will be the Israelites' prisoners.
Yeah.
So right when the Philistines saw their giant fall down, they ran
Right.
because they were scared.
But did they still get them? Did they still become slaves?
I'm pretty sure they did, yeah. Okay, so now Saul was jealous of David because when David came back to the city, if I remember, it's Hebron, I think. After he defeated Goliath, he came in a chariot with a horse with Saul, because Saul was the king. And some people were saying Saul killed hundreds, David killed thousands.
Oh.
So
whoa,
Saul
whoa.
was really getting
No good.
jealous.
No good.
Because a bad spirit was in his head.
So after the years, so David is probably in his older 20s, and he had 2 times where he could have killed Saul, because pretty sure he didn't like Saul either, because Saul was trying to kill David. So, but David, when he was able to kill Saul, he was always with a servant or somebody with him, a warrior, and the warrior would say, David, here's your chance. You can kill Saul. And David would say, no, I can't kill him. He is the anointed one.
Mm.
So it's like a sin if you would kill it would be a sin. One time it was in a cave. David could have killed Saul, but instead of killing him, he cut off a piece of Saul's robe, royal robe, and he went back into the cave, and Saul left. And he showed Saul the piece of the robe, and Saul said, David, you could have killed me, but you didn't. And so Saul left.
Yeah.
The second time, the king was in his camp. They were sleeping with all the soldiers. They were all sleeping, and David passed by. And he took a vase, I think. That's what it's called, yeah, where you put water in. And he took a spear. And in the morning, when Saul got up, David said, look, I have your vase and your spear. And Saul said, you could have killed me, but you didn't do it.
Mm.
So,
Every time Saul said, like he said, he could have killed him, but then he said, I'll leave you alone, but
he never did.
Mm.
As long as Saul lived, David said he would never be safe.
Oh.
As long as Saul lived.
Wow.
Because Saul was really, really jealous of David. So,
But he was the anointed of God.
Who?
Saul.
Saul.
So how come he was so bad with David?
Because
Or jealousy.
David was a better warrior than him. People were saying David's better than you, so he's getting jealous. Because imagine you guys are playing a game. He may not beat you every time at a game. Everybody says he may have won 10,000 times and you 0 times. You would get jealous and you would like to kill his head.
Okay, back over here.
Back
So,
over there.
one day the Philistines, they declared war to Saul again, so to the Israelites. And the Philistines asked David to help them to kill the Israelites. and he was supposed to fight, but then the Philistine king, said,
Princes.
"What is Israelite doing with the Philistines? He shouldn't be on our team." So finally, David didn't need to fight because he didn't want to kill Saul, and Saul's son Jonathan was David's friend, so he didn't want to fight Saul. But during that battle, Saul and Jonathan were killed.
Ooh.
And so Saul died. And Jonathan, who would have been king after Saul, died too at the same moment. So David became king, but only not of all Israel, because there were some tribes, 12 tribes, and David was only king of a few tribes. There was Saul's little brother, his smallest brother, became king of all the other tribes that David wasn't king of. So that's all Israel. And his name was Ishbosheth.
Mm.
And he was really scared of David. He was there, "Oh, David is stronger. He has a better army. Oh, I'm scared." And so he was scared of David. And one day when Ishbosheth was sleeping, he was taking his nap, I guess. Well, 2 people came and assassinated him
Whoa.
because they didn't like him. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
they
was
were
always
on David's
scared.
He's dead now. No way.
Yes, he's dead. So now David is king of all Israel.
Wow.
Okay. So David said, "We should take over Jerusalem to make it my capital." But Jerusalem was one of the best fortified cities in Israel.
Oh.
That wasn't part of his kingdom.
Oh.
So how they got into Jerusalem? There's a river, and it went into a cave, I guess, something like that. It went somewhere, and that river would come into Jerusalem. It was their kind of like their well. That's where they would get water.
Mm-hmm.
So during the night, there's a guy in David's army. And he said, "We can go up this river because it goes into the city." So they went into the cave and everything, and they got into the city. And it was during the night, so the guards of Jerusalem, they didn't see anything. And that guy, the chief of David's army, he said to one of the Jerusalem guards, open the gate and don't say anything. So give the order to open the front gate of the city." So right when he opened the gate, David came in with his army and they took over Jerusalem.
Whoa.
And that's how Jerusalem was taken. And then that's all I'm going to talk about David. David died, and normally his oldest son,
Absalom.
Absalom, was supposed to be king, but he died. And then there were a few brothers after Absalom, and then David's smallest son was called Solomon. And all the older sons, the oldest son was supposed to be king, but David wanted Solomon to be king.
Yeah.
And Solomon became king. He was a very good king.
And where do we go?
Okay, now the verses. What questions do you have?
Nothing.
So we're going to go to 1 Samuel.
I'm ready.
1 Samuel 18,
1 Samuel.
verse 11.
18.
18.
Because okay,
18. verse 11.
Ça, je crois que...
And no, c'est 3, 8, 5.
So
Vas-y, verset chapitre
now in these verses we're talking about David's enemies and how they were they're not nice with him.
27, il a dit 18. T'as dit chapitre combien?
18.
18 verse 11, 1 Samuel.
I know where the Samuel is in my Bible because I know the book. My heart, it's right here.
She didn't fall.
Yeah, but
Go ahead, Maxence.
18, verset
Ouais,
11.
Okay.
Ruth.
Verset 11.
I
Là,
like the book of Ruth.
11, il est où? 12. 11. Oh, I was there.
Okay, so this is talking about David's enemies and how they were not nice with him, how they wanted to kill him, and what they would do.
Mhm.
So, 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 11. And he hurled it, saying to himself, I'll pin David to the wall. But David eluded him twice. So that was Saul. He took it. Saul, David was in Saul's household.
Jumped out.
And one day David was eating with Saul and his son. Yeah, with Jonathan and then I think probably another person. And Saul was already jealous of David. And meaning when I say he was jealous, he wanted to kill David. And there he tried to take a spear and kill David, throw it at him. But I guess David dodged the spear 2 times. And yeah, that's one enemy that tried to kill David. And then we have 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 43.
1723.
43.
1743.
43. Ça, c'est 17.
43. Oh, this is my best. I love this verse. Can I read it?
I don't think you have the right verse in it. It's your favorite.
It's not my favorite.
Got it?
Can I read it?
43.
Can I read it?
You can read it.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yep.
He
All right.
who wanted me did not get me.
Are you reading it, Chloe?
I'm not reading it.
Alright.
Okay, read it, Maxence.
He said to David, Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. That is David's other enemy
Goliath.
that he killed. Goliath, the 9 feet tall giant that was making fun of the Israelites. And when he saw David, a teenager, probably this tall, maybe this tall, and he's like 3 times his size, 2 times, I don't know. And he's making fun of David. Oh, you're so small. How can you beat me with you don't even have armor. You don't even have a sword. And he has all his armor with his spear, his sword, I don't know, all he could have. And he's making fun of David. There you go.
But David.
And that's my preach for today.
All right. Very good, Maxence. Can you tell us why you like the story of David?
I just thought of it.
You just thought of it?
Yeah.
So if there's one thing, because you went through a lot of the good history, the story of David's life, all the way from the time he was anointed when he was really young and was chosen by the prophet, by God, and Samuel, the prophet, anointed him, all the way to when he was getting ready to pass on his kingdom to his son Solomon. So is there any, if you could think of one thing out of all of his life, like a message you would want us to know about David's life, is there one thing that you would like to tell us?
Yeah.
Okay, what would that be?
That he would honor God. He would, how to say, please to God. He was very courageous, and he had faith.
He's very courageous. And what do you see in his story that tells you that? What did he do that shows that he's got courage and faith?
Well, when he would try and take over cities like Jerusalem, like I don't know, all the cities he took over. Well, I think I read that he would always go first when he would fight. He wanted to be the first one to go into battle.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to go to battle, I wouldn't go first.
Mm-hmm. So that showed he's really courageous. Wow. So he treated Saul in a certain way. You could say Saul was his enemy because
Yeah.
Saul was trying to kill him. And Jesus talked a lot about how we should treat our enemies.
Mm-hmm.
What did Jesus say about how to treat your enemies?
Treat your enemies how you want to be treated, or also there's another thing. It's be
What
nice.
did Jesus say to do to your enemies? To fight with them?
No, love them like your brother or something like that.
To love your enemies, yeah.
Even if they're mean with you.
Even if they're mean with you, yeah. Does that look like that's what David was doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Saul was really mean with David, but David was showing mercy on Saul.
Mhm.
There you go.
Okay, good job. Good job,
I
Maxence.
would like to say something. I
Go
would
ahead, you'd
like
like
to
to say
say something.
Okay.
Can you